183. Let's get to the fifth film in the Purge franchise so far, and the last one that we'll be talking about, which is the Forever Purge. Came out in 2021, 3 years later after the first Purge. It is directed by Everardo Gout, written once again, though, by James DeMonico. Stars Anya de la Reguera, Tanakh Huerta, Josh Lucas, Levin Rambin, Cassidy Freeman. And the synopsis is all the rules are broken as a sect of lawless marauders decide that the annual purge does not stop at daybreak and instead should never end. So if I'm not mistaken, this one did come out in COVID. So it was pretty under the radar, kind of got swept under the rug, unfortunately. I didn't see it till maybe 6 months, 8 months after it came out at least. And like with the first Purge, where it was an origin, I thought this idea was a cool, interesting new take and what possibilities could happen with the Purge, where, as the synopsis says, Purge is forever. Hey, let's not stop after 12 hours. Let's just keep going. Let's just keep, killing and causing violence and chaos. I was like, okay, well, that could lend itself to some interesting ideas and sequences. So I'm in for sure. And this director, he hasn't really done much. So I was like, okay, well, not really the person I would choose, but at least it's someone different than DeMonico. And I think that the movie, I've seen it 2 times now, I'm pretty sure. It's okay. It would be in the middle of the pack. And probably the biggest problem about the concept of it being the Forever Purge is, to me, what makes the Purge interesting at its core is the time constraint. It's not the world is filled with violence and it's the wild, wild west. Because really, whether it's a anarchy sort of film, an apocalyptic film, whatever, a Western, we've seen that a million times where there's just violence all over the place. No one's safe. We have seen that. We don't need to see it again, especially done in such a shallow way with not much going on underneath. So I think that while the title is intriguing, I'm like, oh, crap, that'd be crazy. It's really not that interesting because you lose, okay, this needs to happen during the Purge. We need to get this done. This, that, and the other. It's, well, even if the Purge is over, let's just keep going. It's like, that's really not watching it. It's really not that compelling. I do really like, though, the setting of the movie. I think it's shot really well. I like the Western feel. I like the idea of a Western Purge. I think that's really cool. And the masks, and as with all the movies, the character designs of the Purgers on point. I think it's in the poster where there's the guy on the horse with the American flag and he's in all black and he has the mask. I think the designs are good. I think there's a bunny rabbit mask and a guy with a sort of a scarecrow from Batman kind of hood on his face. I think all those really are creepy and disturbing, but it really ends there in terms of the excitement, because the guy on the horse, I would love to know, all right, where'd you come from? How did this come to be? Not to say I would sympathize with him or want to understand him or forgive him, but I'm like, let's get to know these people in one way or the other to where they're not just a blank villainous face. They're not just an evil presence, because this is the 5th one in the franchise. We know that they're evil. We don't need to have just a visual confirmation of that. Let's expand it a little bit. I would be fine if this movie was an extra 15-20 minutes and they really took the time to build up these characters a little bit more on both sides to make things a little bit more memorable, because it really just skips by a lot of things. And really one of the only things that sticks out to me dialogue wise is that conversation when the people on the ranch are caught by the Purgers and the older guy, the father, is talking to the leader of this Purge group, and the Purgers are saying, essentially, we're doing politicians' work. They love us. They worship us. We're helping to maintain a sense of America again, build America back, and we are very much valued and all that. And so it really, sadly, is almost like a brainwash sort of thing. And so I think that conversation, this is really interesting. This is actually hitting on something that is very relevant. But then it's all right, well, it's over. Let's get to violence. Let's get to the next cool mask. And we're done with that. And so that is a big, big letdown, even though I appreciate that it's there. But besides that, I think the opening sequence where the Purgers invade the property on the ranch and like the girl gets caught on the animal lock like cage thing, and then you see the Purgers hovering above her, and then in the, I think it's like a horse barn or something, like there's a lot of cool locations, and it's shot well to where I feel like I'm visually engaged, not just with the masks, but with lighting, with cinematography, especially considering what it is. And the golden brownish color palette, I think, looks really, really good. Some specific scenes that are not too bad is the one in the barn, I think it is, where this guy almost gets his head pushed onto a moving motorcycle wheel. There's also the attack by the construction worker Purgers. I think that's a pretty simple but effective design for the characters. And then also the attack by the neo-Nazi group. There's the sequence in El Paso that's good. And the stuff towards the end maybe gets a little too Mad Maxy with the vehicles and stuff, but I still think it's all right. And I like the idea of it being right at the border and crossing the border. I think all that's effective. So it's one that I feel like I could pop on if I want to watch a Purge movie. It's inoffensive. There's nothing horrible about it like there is with Election Year. It's just a little too average. It's just too vanilla at times. And coming after the first Purge, it doesn't have the vision or the cohesiveness as that one does. I am curious to see what they do with the sixth and supposedly last movie. I don't know if it's going to be a continuation after this one or if it's just going to be in its own little world. I kind of hope it's a completely new concept, as these last few have been. I think that's really where this franchise sets itself apart, because it's trying mostly to build the world up rather than just continue with the same two characters throughout the whole thing and their one journey, which that's fine. But and also quickly, really like the score. That's one good thing. The score is very minimal, but I really, really do like it. So that is a heavy 3 out of 5.